Hey guys, my name is Jae Wilson from Onyx Reporting. In my last video we took a look at Steve's report that prints out labels. And it does 30 labels on a page. Now the challenge with this is, in the US they print on 8.5 by 11 paper. Wherever you're at, maybe your labels come out on A5 or A4. Ideally what we want is we want this report to be dynamic. We want to be able to say how many rows print out on a page. So let's take a look at how we can make this report dynamic. The first thing we have to do is we have to say, well, how many rows do you want per page? Let's say hypothetically I want 3 rows on a page. And what I'll do is I'll name cell C9. I will call it rows per page. And this is just in keeping with the model that Steve set up of naming the other filter values as well. Now if I know I'm printing 3 rows per page and I have 3 columns per page, that means I can do a total of 9 records per page. So how many pages do I really need? Instead of taking 34 records and dividing it by 30, I'm going to divide it by rows per page and then divide it again by columns per page to arrive at the conclusion that I need 4 pages to print out all 34 records. Over here we've still got the page counter that we previously set up. Now my page start, the math is a little bit different. Again, instead of saying start on record N, we're going to say, okay, instead of multiplying by 30, we have to take it by the rows per page and multiply that by 3. That's how many records you have per page. And that's going to give you your new page start. If we're on page 3, we would start on record 19. And I'm just going to call this page start. Alright. In column B we have our record counter, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete all of this static business here. Because remember, we wanted our report to be dynamic. We want it to dynamically make 3 rows instead of being set at a fixed amount. In column B, I'm going to insert a function that says insert an integer for the number from 1 to the number of rows per page. So this will make my counter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to delete all of the hide so that we can see what's going on when we run this report. When I run this report, we're going to see that my integers 1 through 3 are up at the top, and it just doesn't quite look what we want it to be. And what we forgot to do is we forgot to expand the replication region. Remember your grouping reports where you say NL rows is equal to 4. In this case, we're going to say NL rows is equal to 6 so that we replicate the next 6 rows for each integer. This time when we run the report, it's going to look like it's supposed to, insofar as we have 3 rows per page. Only challenge is that our counter is a little bit messed up. So let's take a look at our counter function. Our record counter is always looking at the page start, and that's not quite right. What we really want it to do is we want to say, okay, start with the page start, but then add whatever row number you're on minus 1 times 3. And that's the record you should be on. This time when we run our report, on page 1 we show records 1 through 9. On page 2, 10 through 18, 19 through 27, and then 28 through 36. Now as you can see here, we've run out of records because we only had 34. Theoretically, you could go ahead and dynamically replicate how many columns show up in this report using a similar system. I'll make sure to post these files online. My name's Jae Wilson. Thank you so much for joining us. Cheers.